new footage just came out showing Theo's crew and Yungeen Ace's people getting into it right inside the courtroom, but Theo's guys aren't just coming for Ace, they're going after his whole crew.
He's dropping like we might need to double back. Yungeen Ace,
his boys.
Yeah, been dropping like 6 up.
Things are getting serious and we've got all the details right here, so let's jump in. One street beef makes it into a courtroom. This isn't a movie or a rap video, this is real life, and it all went down right in front of the judge, officers, and the DA. Theo's crew actually tried to rush Yungeen Ace and his people inside the courtroom. It looked like a scene straight out of Power, but this was real and the cameras caught everything. The courtroom, a place that's supposed to be calm and respectful, turned into total chaos. One of Theo's guys, who's tied to 1,200 in Jacksonville, lost it the moment he saw Ace and his team. What happened next? Pure madness. The video is now all over social media and people on Twitter and TikTok are trying to figure out what really caused this fight. But here's the thing, if you think this was just a random courtroom fight, you're missing the bigger picture. This is just another chapter in a street war that's been going on for over 10 years. It's a story full of violence, betrayal and rap battles, and now it's reached the courtroom with the state of Florida even going after the death penalty. It's not just Theo versus Ace, it's Jacksonville versus the justice system, and the whole hip-hop world is watching.
Well, yeah, Foolio just got killed on his 26th birthday in Tampa, which is a couple hours from his home city.
Theo was killed on his 26th birthday. He threw a party, posted about it on Instagram like everything was cool, but he didn't know his enemies were watching closely, and not just watching, they were on his trail, quiet and patient. The suspects, 4 men and a pregnant woman, followed Theo all across Tampa from club to club, staying low-key and waiting for the right moment to strike. They tracked his every move through his phone and car. That's not paranoia, that's how things go down in 2024. Now 5 people are locked up and facing first-degree murder charges. 1 suspect is still on the run, but the rest are facing the most serious punishment possible, the death penalty. Florida is officially seeking it for 3 of them. What's crazy is that the pregnant woman was part of the plan, carrying a life while plotting to take one, and when things fell apart she was the first to start talking. But what really shocked people was the timing. While all this was happening, Yungeen Ace was sitting down with DJ Academics, laughing, sipping Don Julio and joking around, and guess what?
The exact moment. Everybody who got locked up for the murder, the 3 simultaneous arrests, happened exactly when he's talking to me.
At the exact same time Yungeen Ace was laughing with Academics, police were kicking in the doors of the shooters. Total plot twist, and this wasn't some random act, it was a planned mission. One of the suspects even texted, "My thirst is finally quenched," after Foolio was killed. That wasn't just disrespect, it was serious evidence. This was payback for a previous killing, and everybody in the streets knew if Theo and Ace weren't just trading bars and songs, real lives were lost on both sides. They disrespected graves, dropped songs mocking the dead. It was straight up demon time. There's even real footage of one of Foolio's guys peeing on the grave of someone close to Ace. Yeah, that actually happened. So when Ace heard Foolio got killed, he didn't take a moment to reflect, he celebrated.
Right after Foolio got killed, Yungeen Ace started dropping diss songs.
He went hard, man.
And from Jake's point of view, he thinks that Ace has nothing to do with it, which is why he's doing all that.
Just days after Foolio was killed, Yungeen Ace dropped not 1 but 2 diss tracks aimed at him. In the videos he was smiling, holding a bottle of Don Julio like he was celebrating a birthday, not mourning someone's death. And while fans on the internet were eating it up, the feds weren't laughing. While rappers were dissing each other over beats, detectives were quietly building a RICO case. According to DJ Academics, the evidence is so strong that even some of the suspects' own lawyers are reportedly saying, yeah, go ahead and pick a prison. The youngest person involved, just 18 years old, a kid who was playing Fortnite at 12, now possibly facing death row. That's what happens when chasing clout becomes more important than chasing peace. Meanwhile, Alicia Andrews, the pregnant woman arrested in connection with the killing, thought she could work the system. She's reportedly cooperating and asked for a speedy trial, which many believe is a sign she's trying to cut a deal. According to reports, she's trying to save her boyfriend Isaiah Chance while putting the blame on the other shooters, but Florida prosecutors aren't having it. They're treating her like a full participant, as one official put it. You were part of the plan, so you go down too. This isn't a movie, this isn't some Bonnie and Clyde story, this is capital murder. And in court things got even more intense. One of Foolio's close associates reportedly tried to fight Yungeen Ace right inside the courtroom. Why? Because with all this chaos, all these ruined lives and the possibility of death sentences, someone finally snapped. That fight wasn't just anger, that fight was pain, that fight was the street life spilling straight into the legal system. But through it all Ace has stayed unbothered. He told the court there are only 6 to 8 real members in ATK, the rest are just affiliates, not official members. He claims ATK isn't even a gang, just a crew, and if that's true he might dodge a RICO case entirely. Still, let's be real, this whole situation has gotten too big. Courtroom fights, death penalty charges, viral diss tracks, and a rapper dead on his birthday. This isn't just another case, it's becoming a cultural turning point, just like FBG Duck in Chicago, just like YSL in Atlanta. The feds are watching, and Florida, they're getting ready to make an example out of this. To truly understand why that courtroom in Jacksonville exploded like something out of World Star, you have to go back to the morning of June 23, 2024. That's when Charles Andrew Jonesy, better known as Foolio, was killed in an ambush in a Tampa hotel parking lot. He had come to celebrate his 26th birthday. A night meant for popping bottles turned into a cold, calculated hit, a reminder of just how ruthless modern gang violence can get and how far these young men will go to get revenge. The days leading up to his murder felt like a tragic movie. On June 22, Foolio had thrown a party at an Airbnb, but police shut it down after it got too crowded. He moved the celebration to a hotel near the University of South Florida. What Foolio didn't know was that his enemies were watching. They'd been tracking him the entire night like predators stalking prey, just waiting for the perfect time to strike.
Like, that's not gonna happen. Someone's gonna tell them, hey, he's so-and-so, hop in your car, go get him. And that's what happens almost every time.
In the early morning of June 23, around 4:40 a.m., Foolio was caught off guard in a hotel parking lot. 3 masked gunmen crept up on his black Dodge Charger and opened fire with assault rifles and handguns. Foolio was killed instantly and 3 others were seriously injured. What makes this even more chilling is how calculated the hit was. Surveillance footage later used as a key piece of evidence in court captured the shooters moving with cold precision. This wasn't some emotional outburst or street beef gone sideways, it was a military-style ambush meant to take out a specific target. The evidence investigators uncovered in the following weeks showed a level of planning so detailed it even surprised veteran detectives. Multiple surveillance cameras from the hotel and nearby Tesla and other locations captured key moments before, during, and after the shooting. The Tesla footage in particular was crystal clear and helped law enforcement identify both the suspects and the vehicles they used. Around 4:37 a.m. the hotel cameras caught the 3 gunmen sneaking up on Foolio's car. One of them fired at point-blank range with an automatic weapon. The other 2 used rifles outfitted with mesh bags to catch shell casings, a tactic that showed serious street smarts and an effort to avoid leaving evidence behind. The footage even showed Foolio trying to escape his car, speeding off, hitting a curb and getting hit again. In the process it captured the tragic last moments of a young man fighting for his life. But the trail of surveillance didn't start there, it went back hours before the shooting. Earlier that night Foolio had been partying at Teaser's nightclub. At 2:23 a.m. a Chevrolet Cruze driven by Isaiah Chance and Alicia Andrews was spotted pulling into the lot. Cameras caught Chance on his phone allegedly coordinating with Sean Gathright, who was driving a Chevy Impala with Rashad and Devon Murphy. The footage revealed that the suspects had been tailing Foolio for hours, tracking his every move across multiple locations. This wasn't random, it was a carefully planned hunt. After Teasers, Foolio went to an after-party at Truth 18 which had been promoted on social media. Surveillance there showed both suspect vehicles, again following his crew closely. The level of tracking, coordination and surveillance shown by the suspects that night was shocking, not just in how it was done but in how calmly and professionally it was carried out. The killers basically turned Foolio's birthday celebration into a planned hunt, using his own social media posts and public movements as tools to track him. The investigation that followed would uncover deep connections to the long-running beef between rival gangs in Jacksonville. Working together, the Tampa Police Department and the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office identified 5 suspects, Sean Gathright, Alicia Andrews, Isaiah Chance Jr., Rashad Murphy, and Davian Murphy. All 5 were charged with first-degree premeditated murder and conspiracy to commit murder, serious charges that carry the death penalty in Florida. The message from the state was clear: they weren't playing around with these young suspects. As investigators pieced everything together, the roles of each suspect started to become clear, almost like a twisted puzzle coming together. Alicia Andrews, for example, is believed to have helped track Foolio's location. Some reports even suggest she may have lured him in under the pretense of meeting up romantically. That part added an especially grim twist to the case and showed these suspects were willing to use Foolio's trust and personal relationships to get close enough to kill him, a move that revealed just how dirty and dangerous street politics can get.
They drove 3 hours, 2 separate cars.
And they all got caught.
The way police gathered evidence in this case showed just how serious and high-profile it was, and how much modern investigations have changed in today's digital world. The clear footage, especially from the Tesla and hotel cameras, helped detectives quickly identify the suspects' cars and follow their movements. License plate readers and phone data added more proof tying those vehicles directly to the suspects. All of this created a nearly unbreakable digital trail that became a major part of the case and helped prosecutors lock these guys up.
You got the Teslas that are acting like sentries with 360 camera.
Yeah.
It's the clearest camera ever, 4K.
Some of the strongest evidence came from the digital trail, which gave a clear look into the suspect's mindset and what really drove them. Phone records showed Chance talking to Gathright while they were tracking Foolio, and along with the surveillance footage, it helped prove the crew was working together. One of the most shocking details was a text message from Rashad Murphy, who reportedly said, "I'm coming home, my thirst is finally quenched." That message made it clear this wasn't just a random act of violence, it was a revenge hit they had been planning for a while. As investigators dug deeper, they found even more proof linking the suspects to gang activity. Court papers revealed that 80K and 1,200, the gangs they were part of, were enemies of Foolio's 6-block crew. This wasn't just about personal beef, it was part of an ongoing gang war that's been taking young lives for years.
Someone may even get the death penalty.
Well, here's the thing, like, I mean, I don't know what people be thinking, but like, if that case doesn't tell you that it's almost impossible, if there's a popular series called How to Get Away with Murder, then you can't. Like, not no more.
The prosecution's case got even stronger with the recovery of physical evidence that tied these suspects directly to the crime scene, like DNA on the murder weapon. Investigators found bullets in one of the murder weapons stashed at the suspects' cribs, along with ballistic evidence linking the guns to the shooting scene. These suspects had basically created their own incriminating evidence museum, keeping trophies from their crime that would ultimately seal their fate and prove that even the most calculating street killers make rookie mistakes that get them caught up. As the evidence piled up and the arrests started rolling in, the true scope of this street conspiracy became crystal clear to everyone watching. This wasn't just another hood murder, it was the culmination of years of plotting, hatred, and preparation, executed with a level of sophistication that showed how gang warfare has evolved in the social media age. The case would ultimately serve as a wake-up call about how modern technology, while giving criminals new tools to coordinate their moves, also creates an almost inescapable digital footprint for law enforcement to track them down and build bulletproof cases that will put them under the jail. The war that never ends. 80K versus KTA beef. When you talking about the 80K versus KTA war, you ain't just talking about some regular street beef or rap rivalry, you're talking about a full-blown conflict that's been tearing Jacksonville apart for damn near a decade, claiming young lives left and right and turning whole neighborhoods into war zones where mothers scared to let their kids walk to the corner store. This beef runs so deep, so toxic, that it couldn't even be contained by courtroom walls, and that viral fight footage was just the latest chapter in a bloody story that started way before Foolio got his final send-off and will probably continue long after these trials wrap up. The conflict between 6 Block, associated with the KTA crew, and 80K has been a well-documented gang rivalry rooted in Jacksonville, Florida's drill rap scene, but this wasn't no manufactured industry drama for album sales and social media clout. This was real real visceral hatred that's been festering like an infected wound for years, destroying families, claiming lives, and turning entire blocks into battlefields where young soldiers been dropping like flies since 2017. The roots of this deadly conflict stretch all the way back to when everything changed with one tragic incident that lit the fuse on this powder keg of violence. The rivalry turned violent in May 2017 with the murder of Zion Brown, a 19-year-old cousin of Foolio, in a drive-by shooting on Jacksonville's west side. DeAndre Jack Thomas, who was rolling with Yungeen Ace's crew, got locked up and charged in connection with that body, though Ace himself never caught a case for it. This incident is widely considered the match that started this whole deadly cycle of get back between KTA and ATK. But the real escalation came in 2018 when the streets got even bloodier and the beef reached a whole new level of savagery. In June 2018, the feud intensified when young Ace and 3 others were ambushed in a car after celebrating Ace's brother's birthday at a restaurant in Jacksonville's St. John's Town Center. That mass shooting left Ace's brother Trayvon Bullard, Royale Devin Smith Jr. and another young brother dead, with Ace as the sole survivor after taking 8 shots. This hit, attributed to KTA affiliates, was seen as retaliation for Zion Brown's murder, and it set off a chain reaction of violence that still ain't stopped. What made this beef even more toxic was how Foolio amplified the conflict through social media and music, basically pouring gasoline on an already raging fire. Foolio mocked the victims on social media, including wearing a t-shirt with images of the deceased and posting taunts that had the whole city talking. His 2018 song Voodoo claimed he had put a curse on Ace and his crew, further fueling the hatred. In response, ATK members including Ace began using their music to target KTA, setting a pattern of diss tracks and social media provocations that would define this beef for years to come. The year 2019 marked a particularly bloody period in this conflict, with multiple shootings and murders that showed just how deep this war had gotten. In February 2019, Adrian Gaynor Jr., a 16-year-old KTA rapper known as B and Foolio's brother, was killed at Hilltop Village Apartments in northwest Jacksonville. ATK rapper Sue, whose real name is Hakey Robinson, was later charged with second-degree murder in this case, and his album Be Out featured images of fallen KTA members as a taunt, showing how disrespectful this beef had become. The streets were so hot that innocent people started catching bullets meant for gang members. Damon Rothermel, a 50-year-old bystander, was killed by a stray bullet during a shootout on Emerson Street in January 2019. Abdul Robinson Sr., alleged leader of ATK, was charged with accessory after the fact for helping a suspect flee, highlighting how this feud was affecting innocent civilians who had nothing to do with the street politics. By 2020, the violence had reached such extreme levels that law enforcement started calling it one of the deadliest gang wars in Jacksonville's history. On January 15, 2020, KTA rapper Charles Quentin McCormack Jr., known as Lil Buck, was killed in an Arlington shopping plaza. Motivated by the death of his brother Boscoon and other attacks on ATK, was charged with second-degree murder. His social media activity, including posts bragging about the killing and lyrics in the song ATK War, reenacting the hit, provided evidence for his arrest. The beef gained national attention in 2021 due to viral diss tracks that glorified the violence and put Jacksonville's gang war on the map. Released on April 16, 2021, Who I Smoke by Yungeen Ace, Spin a Benz, Fast Money Goon and Wappa Went to Choppa sampled Vanessa Carlton's 000 Miles. The song named and disrespected deceased KTA members including B-Tay and Lil 9 and amassed over 18 million YouTube views by May 2021. The track was criticized for its provocative nature but showed just how intense this ATK-KTA war had become. Foolio retaliated with When I See You remix, referencing the 2018 shooting of Yungeen Ace and his brother. The music video showed Foolio dancing in the graveyard with images of ATK victims, further escalating tensions and showing that neither side was backing down from this deadly conflict. Sheriff Mike Williams described social media as the gang graffiti of the 1980s, noting how platforms like YouTube and Instagram fueled the conflict by allowing rappers to taunt rivals publicly. The Jacksonville Sheriff's Office launched Operation Wrap Up in 2019 to target gang members glorifying violence online, leading to several arrests. In 2023, tensions reached a boiling point when Foolio and members of 6 Block crossed a line that even the streets considered unforgivable. About 7 months before Foolio's death, he and members of 6 Block and Bully Gang filmed the music video at a cemetery, posing in front of Royale Devin Smith Jr. TS burial site. This act provoked ATK and led to renewed violence with the death of Gizio 6 Block member following shortly after. Following Jib's murder, ATK rapper Antonio Tilly Jr. released a song snippet mocking the fallen soldier on October 6, 2023. Tilly and an innocent Uber driver Bryant Grund were killed in a shooting on Kylan Drive with Jacoon Mills and Diamond. Michaela Harris later charged. Cycle of retaliation continued with no end in sight. Then came June 23, 2024, when Foolio finally got caught slipping and met his maker in that Tampa hotel parking lot. The JSO and Tampa police linked the shooters to ATK and the 1200 gang, suggesting the killing was part of the ongoing feud. What made it even more disrespectful was how Yungeen Ace dropped "Do It" just hours after Fio's death, with lyrics and visuals that seem to be claiming responsibility for the hit.
If I'm beefing with somebody and they died, I don't got to do with it. I'm non-stop talking about it if I'm disrespectful like that.
But the violence didn't stop with Foolio's death. If anything, it escalated to even more tragic levels. On January 24, 2025, Beyond Allen Jr., a 7-year-old, was killed in a shooting targeting his 21-year-old cousin and ATK-affiliated rapper on Jacksonville's west side. The attack, linked to 6 Block members, was motivated by a diss track, 6 Ways to Die, which insulted deceased 6 Block members, including Foolio. The JSO described the incident as part of the 8-year KTA-ATK feud with Little Brian's death, highlighting the tragic collateral damage of the senseless war. The death of an innocent child finally seemed to wake up even some of the participants in this conflict. On December 23, 2024, Yungeen Ace announced the dissolution of ATK during an emotional live stream, citing frustration with his crew's lack of loyalty, failure to cover funeral costs, and absence during legal battles. Ace's decision came amid heightened law enforcement scrutiny, with Sheriff Waters confirming constant monitoring of ATK members. The broader impact of this feud has been devastating for Jacksonville, contributing to the city's high violent crime rates and drawing national attention to its drill rap scene. Sheriff Williams noted in 2021 that ATK alone was potentially linked to 15 murders, showing the scope of this violence.
He's been involved in all different types of things in all types of ways. From what I understand, if he goes to Jacksonville, the police are on him straight away.
Innocent bystanders like Damon Rothermel, Bryant Grunt, and Little Beyond Allen Jr. have been among the casualties, showing how this beef has torn through the community like a plague. The rivalry's visibility through viral diss tracks has also influenced youth culture, with young kids growing up thinking this type of violence is normal and acceptable. The feud's persistence suggests deeper systemic issues in Jacksonville's urban community: poverty, lack of opportunity, trauma, and a street culture that glorifies violence and revenge over education and legitimate success. While AC's dissolution of ATK may reduce organized gang activity, individual rivalries and the desire for get-back will likely persist as long as the underlying conditions that created this war remain unchanged. The viral courtroom fight that started this whole discussion represents more than just a momentary loss of control. It's a symptom of a much larger disease that's been eating away at Jacksonville's black community for years. Until the city addresses the root causes of this violence, the poverty, the lack of opportunities, the generational trauma, and the street mentality that values revenge over reconciliation, these courtrooms will continue to be pressure cookers where raw emotion and street justice collide with the measured pace of legal proceedings, potentially derailing justice for victims and their families while perpetuating a cycle of violence that seems to have no end. Thank you for watching this video. If you'd like to watch another fascinating video like this, click on one of the boxes on your screen right now.